Hey there, crafter! When I was planning this video, I was originally going to do 5 DIY ideas, but the weeks before Christmas are always so hectic, so I ended up running out of time and I narrowed it down to just one idea. And that is how to make cute melt and pour soaps for gifts. The first last-minute DIY gift idea is melt and pour soap. Now I'm going really simple with just the melt and pour, which you just heat in the microwave. I got this from Hobby Lobby, $9.99, and of course I got it on sale. I've got some soap dyes here, of course used a coupon on those, and then I already had some essential oils on hand. If you're using essential oils to add a scent, make sure they're topical. This one I checked, it says it is. I'm going to use a regular size muffin tin as my mold, and then I also have this random snack container. And then last of all, just to keep it real with y'all, this is my first time doing melt and pour, so this is going to be tutorial slash testing, but basically I'm going to follow the directions on the container and I'll tell you if this is really easy to do, and hopefully watching me make melt and pour soap for the first time will give you the confidence to make some as well. You can double boiler melt this, but I'm going to melt in the microwave in a measuring glass that the markings all came off of. Alright, we'll melt this much and we'll see how many we can make using this much. Also, the soap isn't hard to cut through. If it looks like I'm struggling, it's well because I am struggling, but I'm struggling because I'm cutting with one hand while I'm holding the camera with the other. But I'm going to break this into smaller chunks so it'll melt faster. Alright, so I'm going to put this in the microwave for 30 seconds on high. I'm actually going to do it 30 seconds on power 8 because our microwave sometimes has issues. We're going to do 30 seconds, cook power 8. Alright, let's check the soap. And you may want to use a hot pad. Looking a little bit melted. And then they say to do it on 10-second intervals, so that's what we're going to do next. My soap is good and melted and my container is very hot. So now they're telling me to add my favorite color and fragrance, but what if I want to do a color that isn't my favorite color? Am I not allowed to do that? Very confusing instructions. So at this point, I'm going to add a couple of drops of my essential oil and stir it in. And also don't stir yours vigorously like I did with mine because it just creates more air bubbles. All right, I just did 5 drops. I really have no idea how many I need to do. We'll see if that works. Now it's time for the coloring. I feel like purple today. They were like super separated before I started, so let me get this shaken up really well. All right, let's make this purple. All right, I added 5 drops, then we're gonna stir this in. Oh, it's so pretty. Let's go a little darker. And I think it's shimmery too. I don't know how well the camera's gonna show that. So as this sits and cools down, it kind of creates a film on the top. So I'm gonna mix that all in, get this one good last final mix, and then pour it into my mold, aka the muffin tins and plastic container. All right, here we go. Before you pour, coat your muffin tin with rubbing alcohol. It will make removal so much easier. I forgot this step, and I'll show you what to do if you forget this step, but just coat it with rubbing alcohol. It will make your life so much easier. And now for the hard part, letting it cool for at least 40 minutes. The good news is cleanup is really easy because I gotta wash this and it's literally just soap. And this stuff lathers pretty well, I'll show you here. A little bit of the soap there. A little hard to do with one hand, but you can see it lathers really well. So I'm pretty happy with this soap base. So I've let these sit for a few hours, mostly just because I was busy with other things. We're gonna see if they come out easily. Otherwise, I might need to pop them in the freezer or the fridge for a little bit to see if I can get them out more easily. Also, there's bubbles on the top of mine because I stirred it too vigorously, so avoid doing that. So I messed up on the camera here and I already gave the soap away as a gift before I realized I didn't have footage. But to remove it, I first tried hitting the bottom of the container, but it didn't budge. So then I loosened the sides of the container away from the soap edges, and once I did that, it came out really easily with just a light hit. Let's see how this goes. These aren't budging at all, so into the freezer they go. All right, it's been 5 minutes, let's check on them. So then because life happened, I forgot about these and left them in for a very long time, like 3 days. And then I was just too busy to deal with them. And now these soaps smell like my freezer, that's great. All right, we'll see if we can get these out. The freezer worked, the first one came right out. So let's get the next one. Oh, perfect. That oil on the top, the way they look like kind of wet, that could be just, you know, moisture from the freezer, or it could be the essential oil separating out. Once these warm up a bit, I'll see if I can figure out what it is. But seriously though, if you want to avoid the freezer method, make sure to apply rubbing alcohol to your mold before you pour in your soap. So while I'm letting my soaps warm back up, I am going to make little paper covers using cardstock and watercolors. I'm not doing any fancy watercolors. These are the really cheap, like Crayola ones. This thing's probably really old. And I've got a little bit of water here. And I'll show you a few different design ideas. First really simple watercolor design is to do roses. So I'm gonna get a little bit of green and I'm just going to go whoop, whoop, and make my leaves. I'm just gonna do a whole section of my paper here. And wherever I'm putting leaves is where I'm going to put a rose. I'll just do some other random leaves to fill it in. And the roses are really easy. You can use pink or red, and we're gonna get that wet and mixed up. And for each rose, we're going to draw 3 C's. I'm gonna draw a C, and another C. Boom, that's a rose. Draw a C shape in the center, and another C shape in the center. Boom, that's another rose. And I'm just gonna do this wherever I want to have a rose. And I'm doing this with just the really cheap brush that comes with this, so it's not even like you need a fancy brush or anything. You can leave it like this, or we can go in with another color and make it really watery and runny, and just kind of fill in the background a little bit. Another idea is to do a Christmas tree, and I'm gonna do it kind of in the center, so when I cut this into a strip to wrap around, I'll have enough room on either end. I'm just gonna go back and forth like you do. Make a little Christmas tree. And I have a little trunk and a star, and I'll fill my background in with this purple. Last idea is these really easy little boxes in a checker mark pattern. We're just gonna go up and down and make a box, leave space for another box. And I like to pick one color as my dominant color and create a checker shape with my first color. Now that I have my checkerboard shape, I'll just go in with other colors and fill in randomly until everything's filled in. Then I'll go with some orange and fill in some of the boxes. Fill in with some yellow, and lastly I'll do this pinkish red. And then once these have dried, I will cut them out and wrap them around my soap. So now I'm just gonna cut out slices of my patterns. So then I cut this piece of soap, and I should have waited till it wasn't frozen, so it cut a little crooked. But basically we're just going to wrap our piece of paper around our soap, and I'll crease it at the edges. Then I'll use a little piece of tape to attach it together. So here are the soaps. They smell so good, the color is so fun, and the soap base lathers really well, so I was happy about that too. This is a great idea for last minute gifts because it's super simple and you can take care of several last minute gifts all at once. Now also, since this week is Christmas and next is New Year's, this is the last video for Crafters Autonomous for 2020. I know this has been a crazy year, but I really hope that my channel's been a bright spot in the midst of the craziness, and I am so thankful for everyone who's watched my channel and supported my channel all year long. Y'all are the best. And this Christmas, more than ever, I cling to the angels' message when they told the shepherds, "Don't be afraid, for look, I proclaim to you good news of great joy that will be for all the people." And that good news, of course, is that God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life. So I'm very excited for Christmas this week. It truly is my favorite day of the entire year, and I hope you too are able to find joy this holiday season. But I will see you in the new year. Happy crafting! Your hands are purple and pink. You know, zoom in on the thing there. Like, but don't like, no, like move your camera closer. Move the camera closer.